the radio, building dreams and achieving more, telling it just like it is. Most of all, keeping it real. Are you ready for real talk? Changing lives and communities. Real talk. Saving all our families. Real talk. Bringing hope for you and me. Real talk. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio.
Well, good morning. Good morning. And welcome to the Real Talk with Judy live radio show. I am your number one talk show host for empowering, inspiring, and motivating people to, and help people to see what they can see or what they can be, helping them to fulfill your vision, your dream, your hope, your desire, everything you want to accomplish. I am that person. I am your radio host who is able to get you to see it before you see it. Because what we've come to the conclusion, as my presiding bishop would say, if you don't see it before you see it, you never will see it. I remember Karen Clark Shear made a comment and she said she never saw herself them winning the Lifetime Achievement Award on the Grammys. But guess what? They did. And then I think one of her sisters said, no, we saw that. Remember, we talked about it. So you got to see it before you see it. And I want to thank you all so very much for coming on. We had just a little technical difficulty, but we're here. And guess what? So are you. And so we appreciate you being here. I know we have one of the best. Hey, Tanya. Hey, Tamia. We're so glad to have y'all on, and all of those who are tuning in. Thank you so, so very much. You all are absolutely fantastic people. And I am Dr. Judy, your people architect and your Real Talk host. To all of you, thank you so very much. I don't know what it feels like where you are, Bishop, and all of those who's tuning in from everywhere. Don't know what it feels like where you are, but it's a nice, sunny, and cool Tuesday here in Tallahassee, Florida. It feels good out here. So wherever you're joining me from, via radio, Hallelujah 95.3 FM, Facebook Live, YouTube, and the Hallelujah app, to all of you outside of Tallahassee, thank you all so very much for tuning in. You all have helped us to be rated real high, and we want to thank you all so very much. I know our program manager, thank you. That's Darius.Baker.D. I know he thank you all, and I'm honored that you come back every Tuesday. You join us every Tuesday, so I want to thank you so very much. And I need y'all. I want y'all to do this because today's show, I promise you, Bishop ready. He's ready. It's been a whole month since he's been gone from us, a whole month, but no he's ready. What did I say, Bishop?
No pressure.
But he's ready. He's been gone a month. But I want you all to go ahead and text and tag everyone, especially leaders, top leaders, second chair leaders. Go ahead and get everybody, because today is going to really bless you. And we believe that we're going to help you lift the lid. We're going to help you lift your lid. So go ahead and get everybody on here. And while you do that, I get to say hello to my mama. So hello, mama. My mother's in Fort Lauderdale. I can't tell y'all, boy. My sister and my niece got my mama acting crazy, boy. They got Bishop. We called her and she said, "What up, fam?" My mother is 85 years old. She's talking about, "What up, fam? What up, fam? You 85, mama. You don't say no 'what up, fam.'" And then doing stuff like this, talking about, "Yo, what's happening?" Irma, you don't do that. You're 85. You're a mother in the church.
I love it. I love it.
I know what up, fam, but we are excited, and I am thankful the Lord will, and we believe he will. She will be 85 February the 25th, and she's going to call in next Tuesday and tell me happy birthday. All of y'all will have an opportunity to do that, but my mother's going to call in, come on here and say happy birthday. So I'm excited about that. She's still my advisor. My sister Carolyn is on here, I believe. She on that? Yep, she's in Louisiana with her husband. And sending back nice oysters and stuff. We don't have it like that here in Tallahassee. But to my husband, Superintendent Mandrell, I want to thank him so very much for this opportunity to serve you all and his support. Right before we get into the show, of course, to missionary Sister Priscilla John Lewis, my production manager, I want to say, man, and marketing director, I want to say to you, Priscilla, thank you so very much for all that you do to make sure everything flow. And I know I probably pull your hair out sometime, but have you to pull your hair out sometime. But that's what we do, right, Bishop?
That's right. All the time.
All the time. But I want to thank you so very much. Until again, to you all, y'all go ahead and share this for me. Share this page. Invite people to come on. To invite them to come on. A lot of people like this time anyway, Bishop. They like me from 12 to 1. But y'all go ahead and share. Now they could come on, okay? So we're going to get don't forget to mark your calendar for next Tuesday, February the 13th. Don't forget to mark your calendar. And we're going to be at the Tallahassee Night Live Performing Arts Center. Man, we are excited. Vaughn Wilson is going to be the DJ. Comedian Big Hugh is coming. We got Jeffrey Chambers, Shakayla Wiggins, and a whole bunch of them are coming. Just a lot of people are coming. We're going to have a great time. And I'm asking you all, if you would please, go ahead and register. Go ahead and register. We got a lot of food. Danshay Gilmore, she's cooking the food. Y'all know she is a cook. She's cooking for Equal Grounds, doing while they're here for the legislation, and it's gonna be real good, Bishop. It's gonna be real good. So we are excited. But I need y'all to register, please. And we want you there. It is no cost to you. This is paid for really by my husband. It is paid for by my husband. So you got to get a good husband. They'll give you a big 65th birthday party. and then we got others who are donating things. And I am just excited. So I'm inviting all y'all to join me. But if you would, go to my birthday registry. So many people have sent in money. And what that's going to do to help me continue what I'm doing and to do more things in the community as Real Talk with Judy live radio show. So I'm asking y'all to join me, please. So there's my go to my website and do that. It's a Red and White affair. So well red and white. Okay. Now I am excited about today's show. I really am. I'm always excited to talk to Bishop anyway. Even when we're not on the radio. Yeah, we have a good time together. Yeah, y'all see. I mean, he is absolutely phenomenal. But I have him on often simply because I love what he does. I watched him grow up as a young boy. His mother brought him up there with us as a young boy, and it was so good to see him. And he got to get one story right. So we got Nathan Cohen on. Yeah, all right. So he has done some marvelous things. He really has. And I have the opportunity to watch him grow, I think probably from 5 years old to, how old are you now, Bishop?
I'm 49. I'm turning 50 this year.
So y'all know there's going to be a party, right?
It's going to be a party this year.
It is going to be a party.
I'm going to get their councils and like cancel me, whatever y'all want to do, because I don't really care. I'm turning 50 this year.
You said they can cancel you?
I'm turning. Yeah.
Well, they might be doing a little bit for me come next Tuesday, because it's just, Bishop, it's life, right? And I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna enjoy it to the fullest. I really am.
And
God has blessed me to see 65 years.
Yep.
We're going to celebrate. I'm going to celebrate with everything in me. And I want people to come. I really want my sisters in there, but I know that they're not really able to be there because my sister take care of my. We got Bishop Clark Lazar. We got some great leaders on here.
Huh?
And some great leaders on here.
Yeah.
Some great leaders who's tuning in to listen. So we're going to get started, Bishop. We're going to get started. So the people on the lunch break, So it's stretching time, y'all. It's stretching. Minister Likely, all of you all, thank y'all so very much for tuning in. So Bishop Derek McRae, just tell them a little bit about you, y'all. He's from the Orlando Experience Christian Center in Orlando, and he's doing marvelous work. So Bishop, just tell them a little bit about you so we can get into the show.
Sure thing. Bishop Derek McRae, Senior Pastor of the Experience Christian Center, located right here in the beautiful city where it's a little warmer than Tallahassee, and that's Orlando, Florida. And we've been pastoring now 15 years, just celebrated 15 years last month. And God has done some remarkable things, preparing ourselves for the next move. And I'm really, really excited about what God is doing. And so happy, as always, to be on with my friend, my mentor, one that I've known since I was about 3 years old. It's about 3 years old. And that is none other than Dr. Judy. So just a pleasure and a privilege to be back on with you today as we dive into this very interesting topic.
Yes, sir. Bishop, so what have you, and y'all, I want to say this. When I come around Bishop, a lot of people already know me, because if someone had put on Facebook, Bishop, that everybody's not talking bad about you, that there are some people who really speaking well of you. And there are so many doors that you've opened, so many people that you introduced me to, who are your mentors. And I know you call me your mentor, but you have opened so many doors for me. And every time you went up, every time you took another assignment, you bring me. You're gonna have me to come and speak every time. And then you introduce me to other people who have made it, who's almost, I don't know what, and they too invite me because of you. And I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for those opportunities. Sometimes people don't go back and say thank you, but I often tell you thank you, Bishop, because you have opened so many doors and introduced me to so many people nationally and everything. And I just want to say thank you before we get started.
Listen, good folks know good folks. And that's all. When you surround yourself right, everything around you should come up together. And that's what I just live by that.
Wow, that's good to get into. I like that. Say that again. And I like that part. We all should come up to say it again, Bishop.
When you surround yourself right, everybody should come up together. You don't surround yourself for just one person to stand. You should surround yourself that everybody can stand together. And when you have that team effect, I'd rather have 50 people pulling the wagon than to have one person pulling it by themselves.
Yes.
So we all should pull this wagon together. And that means that we all should come up together.
Yes. Yes. And y'all, that's going to get us into this whole series of Stretch Leadership. And today we're talking about the law of the lid. I want to ask you something before we get started. And I didn't call you to tell you I was going to ask you this, because I wanted to ask you anyway. So what have you done to stretch your leadership team since January the 2nd? You was on here January the 2nd. So what have you done since January the 2nd, Bishop, to stretch your leadership team?
Well, one of the things that we're doing now, and I actually kicked it off last night, the Lord has brought me back to, I did a lot of hands-off leadership over the years. And now I'm bringing myself back to the place of actually doing more personal implementation. So the truth is, for my leaders, they know that when I'm in the room, they're automatically stretched. For instance, last night, I had 3 meetings last night. I met with music ministry last night. I met with my board of directors last night. And I also met with my member service team last night. They all have a plan, a policy. And I listened to the plan and the policy, and then I gave them some interjections. My interjections are always much larger than their projections. So I always try to stay ahead of the leadership tier. I believe that it's necessary to give people skeletons, but allow them to put meat on the bones, but you got to build a skeleton. And so one of the challenges I gave last night in one of my meetings was, I don't want you to get comfortable in managing. Never forget that you're ministering. So in ministering means you got to keep stretching. So don't get comfortable in just managing. Sometimes we get outdated because we become comfortable. And we get to always prepare ourselves that at the end of your greatness, there's more. Somebody said something to me, one of my ministers said the other day, like, hey, I'm working on mastering this sermon. And I said, you'll never master the sermon. When you finish preaching it, you'll see that you missed something. And the moment that you ever get to mastering a sermon, you're probably not even speaking the right message. So it should be something always stretching you, something greater, something that's bigger, something that expands you. And so whenever I show up, and every confident leader should be there. You're not arrogant, you're not cocky. Whenever you show up, those who are around you should be stretched to greater. They should feel something about you that makes them, and here it is for me. When my mentors come around and those who deposit into me come around, I actually feel a little minimized. It's not their doing. It's my humility and personality that I'm embracing, that they got some more to pull me to that I haven't gained yet. And I think that's the missing element. We are looking for platforms to be puffed in our heads and to feel good about our accomplishments. And whenever you start feeling good about your accomplishments, you usually stop accomplishing.
Wow.
So you got to always pull yourself. So when leaders come around and you feel a little intimidated, that ain't nothing wrong. That's good stuff there.
That's good stuff.
That's good when I'm intimidated, because it means this is a moment for me to shut my mouth. It's a moment for me to be deposited into. It's a moment for me to regain and to grow and to be expanded in something that I didn't think about, something I didn't know. And not enough of us are willing to be intimidated so that we can be expanded. Not enough of us are willing to be intimidated. We got complex issues. We got self-esteem issues. We're dealing with the lack of achievement and the knowledge that we've been lazy and have not been able to do. That when people who are high achievers come around, we start trying to measure up versus maxing down. Max down so the high achievers can pour into you, and then you can grow even the greater. We all have to do this at every level of leadership.
Bishop, I have never heard intimidation talked about so well. That is the honest truth. And you help me, because sometimes when I'm coming around leaders who have excelled where I want to go, there is a sense of intimidation. And also, I like to have my phone ready, because that's what I have with me most of the time, to take notes. So as they're dropping nuggets, I'm writing. I am listening intently. I am ready, simply because if my lid is short, it can't go anywhere. I was told last Saturday we were in Orlando, Oviedo. Matter of fact, with Bishop Perkins, and Bishop, I don't think Bishop Perkins' mind ever stopped. I don't think his mind ever stopped. But he always bring out something out of the scripture that make you go, what? How in the world he got that? And I love to hear him talk and the teaching that in that aspect, because he always calls me to think higher. And I agree with you. If you're with leaders who are not causing you to think higher, and it's not cocky, it's confident, right? And so in what God gave you, we met with our leadership team. We met with our board of directors. We brought in LaShawn Gordon to sit with our board of directors, because there's a certain level we ready to go. We're ready to go to another level. We met with our leadership team, our ministerial department leaders, and we gave them the skeleton and asked them to work. So now what we're getting ready to do, and just as you said, now we're going to go back. And I know there are some things we're going to add to it and take away for right now, because Pastor is the senior leader. And as he and I talk and we see this stuff, Bishop, we have to get our leaders to a point where they will stretch beyond normalcy. Beyond being comfortable. Because that's not what God is calling for in 2024. Neither are the people.
Yeah. When you was talking, when you told me about the theme for today, and I began to listen to this, the Law of the Lid. I've studied it many times with John Maxwell as well. And as I'm going to study this, and you put into my text message one little piece that I had to write down, and it said leadership abilities determines a person's level of effectiveness. Leadership ability determines a person's level of effectiveness. And the first thing that came to my mind is, we got a lot of self-proclaimed leaders. And the question becomes, what qualifies a person to lead? And that's a real big piece, because today I'm a leader, but I have not always led on this level. In order to get to this level, something that we don't say anymore that we used to say a lot, rites of passage. And we no longer live rites of passage anymore. We live self-promotions. We don't live rites of passage. I'm a big fan of John Maxwell. Matter of fact, he's coming to Orlando March the 8th and 9th. And
I'm close to be there.
Well, when he comes. But I read another book, and actually I teach my leadership team out of another one of his books called The 5 Levels of Leadership.
Mm-hmm.
One of the levels of leadership that he mentions in there is this positional leadership. And that just because the position is available, somebody gives it to you, you directly get into that's your position. Then he talks about permissional leadership, when somebody sees something in you and they say, I'm gonna give you permission to lead me. I don't think we have enough people who are leading because of permission leadership. Meaning that somebody else saw something in you and they said, hey, I'm gonna lend myself to your leadership because there's something I've seen. Too many leaders are practicing on people.
Yes.
They have not performed. They may be strong in their tone, and they even may be strong in their personality. So they dominated people who was inferior, but it does not mean that they're a leader.
Right.
You really got to begin to iron that out, because we got so many people who are called leaders, but have never accomplished anything.
Right.
And if you lead, there has to be some place of accomplishment.
Yes.
If a quarterback loses his locker room because he cannot win games, the proven fact of you being an effective leader is what we need to say, because we got people who are leading nowhere and nobody. But we got to get to effective leaders are ones who should have some track record, a resume, a trail that qualifies you to be a leader. And once we get to that, what qualifies you to be a leader, then we got to ask this, we got to get into this discussion piece on why should you be a leader? Like why should you be a leader? Because once we discover the leader, here it is. This leader exists within us. After we discover that the leader exists within us, it's then at that moment that we must discover, here it is, that we must discover how the leader must expand, which means that a leader never stops growing and a leader never stops being a student. Every leader got to stay a student, or you will literally expire your tenure of leader.
Yes.
People will outgrow you if you don't stay student.
Yes.
So there's a season for you to instruct, but there's a strong season. And your season, here it is, your season of being poured into needs to be really stronger than your season of instructing.
Yes.
So you need to hear somebody that is elevated, pouring into you, because if we don't have the pour, what are we pouring out? And it's a lot of people who are leading with empty vases. There is nothing to pour out. And now we're frustrated that nobody wants to follow us, but they're not following you because you don't have nothing to give to them. You've been functioning in the positional leadership position. You have not been functioning in the permissional leadership position. And so great leaders, they come to this concept that we have never mastered leading.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great leaders. It ain't never over.
Never over.
Why am I going to to a John Maxwell conference? I'm going to this conference because I need to be poured back into.
Yes.
Grow again. I need to see something again. And let's be honest with ourselves. When you're really talking about leadership, you're talking about also self-investment.
Yes.
Like, are you willing to pay? And sometimes it's not even a registration fee, but for the people who pour into me, I pour into them financially. I give to them because I honor what they give to me. And so I give seed to them because I honor what's in them. I pay registration conferences. I honor what they're giving to me. Whenever you can't trace $1 to it, you probably don't have a heart with it.
Wow.
If you can't trace $1, all this freebies that you want, ain't no heart in there. That's a self slug. You are just literally leeching off of things.
Yes.
If can't afford to put your investment back into it. We pay for the value.
Right.
We pay for the value, and leaders got to get into the John Maxwell piece was $2,500.
Yeah.
I'm going to a $2,500 class.
Mm-hmm.
Hear that? $2,500 class. I could have done a lot of stuff for $2,500.
Yes, sir.
But I'm so committed to being a better leader. And the way I know I'm committed is my dollars followed it.
Yes, sir. And that's the same class I'm going to. That's how I become a John Maxwell certified leader. To me, investing in that training, invested in the atmosphere, investing, all of that feeds me. So when I come back and I'm training people and I'm leading people, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I have upscale me. And so leaders, you got to understand, Bishop, you just said so much, because one of the things we have problems with too, Bishop, we got the wrong people in place at the wrong time. So in order to be an effective leader, we got to make sure we put the right people in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And because we still don't move. So leaders, to me, leaders need to be trained in a position, even in this, and that's in our corporate world, that's in our church world, that's everywhere. Especially our church world, because some people are just put there. Mm-hmm. And as you say, they have no, no past references of doing anything. They have nothing, or they led a little kindergarten class. Now they want to be the whatever. But I think you need to. The Bible even speaks about it. Bishop, he said, "Don't put a novice in office."
Yep.
Right, and so we have to be trained, and that's why I believe, Bishop, we can go no. It is like this for some people, because as you're speaking, the leaders that right here hadn't gone anywhere. And so they're giving you kindergarten stuff, and you in 5th grade, but you keep staying back because most times you don't go higher than the leader that you're under.
No, watch
this. Organization or anywhere.
Here's a very controversial piece with that. Right, watch this. So it becomes very important to understand who pours into you. That's number one. Understand that is very important, because usually you can trace ahead to see what's under. So you can trace ahead. When you start seeing people all the time say, "I see Joseph Walker in you. I see that in you." You know, so a lot of his concepts, a lot of his theories, a lot of things that he works on, they see that in me. Mm-hmm. Now, that is also supposed to be seen under me.
Yeah.
So what's ahead, what's traced ahead, should be also seen to be what's tangible behind me as well. Now, here's the truth, because you start talking about that, the hit that lid piece, get into that place where you can't go any further. And that's a real life place for us. And so what I've discovered is this: when God begins to grace you with a high level of leadership, you have to, number one, make sure that who you're connected to is God assigned. Because whoever's God assigned to you to be your leader also carries the capacity for you to have other leaders. Now this is where it gets sticky. You have the capacity to have other leaders. Now, for you to embrace the other leaders that God will send to you. Now, I'm still saying that you got your leader. You have the person. And I don't believe in 5 heads. I don't believe in that. I only have one spiritual father. Okay, so I got one spiritual father. Now, I got mentors, leaders, people who contribute to me. Yes. Those are different tiers of leaders. My spiritual father has no issue or agenda against those that I embrace to also be contributors to my leadership. Watch this. So I'm consecrated by Bishop Alan Wiggins. Archbishop Alan Wiggins consecrates me. Bishop Joseph Walker is my spiritual father, but Bishop Alan Wiggins consecrates me. Bishop Joseph Walker has no issue with me going through the International Bishops Conference and Archbishop Alan Wiggins being consecrated. Because when the offer first came to me, the first call I made was to Bishop Joseph Warren Walker III to say, "What do you think about the offer that has come to me?" He told me, move forward with it. I know, and he started naming the bishops in the organization and said, that's great credibility. Move forward. Now, here's the point that I make. I kept no secrets from my leader.
Yes.
And a lot of times we can't have expanded leadership implementation because we're still trying to be too secretive to who God has aligned us with. So we can't enjoy the pleasures of other wisdom pockets being developed and deposited into us because we're keeping secrets. And when you're keeping secrets, you can't expose what you know and who you got it from because you're keeping secrets.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to become comfortable, because if I am to name me, I'm going to name you about 5 people that regularly deposit into my life.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the 5 people that I'm naming, my spiritual covering, Bishop Walker, knows all 5.
Yes.
And that all 5 contribute.
Yes.
Is it possible that we are stifling our leadership growth because we're trying to do sneak attacks and be surprising?
Wow.
Another reason why we don't tell things to that leader who God has sent us is because of the fact that we probably know something is wrong with what we're about to walk into. And so we don't have confidence to walk into it, and we don't share the platform because we're afraid, number one, that our leader may tell us no.
Mm-hmm.
And I need us to catch that. Every leader needs to be able to be told no by somebody.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to grow, you have to be subject to a no.
Have to be.
Somebody got to tell you no at some point. Everything can't be a yes, because if everything is a yes, you've already evolved. Something got to be a no. Somebody got to be able to rebuke, even in leadership.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to embrace that if you're serious about growing. A lot of us talk a growth game, but we don't have a growth plan.
Oh, come on.
We got a growth game. We talk that game. Oh, we're going to grow. We're going to grow. But if you cannot start with no's being existing in your life, you don't have a growth plan. You got a growth game. You're just talking the talk, but you're not ready to grow the growth. Because some of this, we live in Florida. Sometimes we have palm trees. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you got to prune the palm tree so it can really grow out to be beautiful. We want to keep dead limbs on, and they start folding out and they take away from the value of the tree. Sometimes you got to cut. Those are no's. Cutting some of those branches that are starting to turn a little different. They're not going to fit in with the decor of this new tree. And many leaders are refusing no's. And I'm seeing it so much, especially now in the generations under me. Yes. They're refusing no's. And they're wondering why they're not seeing real growth. It's because there's too much refusal of the no. The no can bless you.
Oh, yes, sir.
The no can bless you like a yes can bless you.
Yes,
but you embraced it. I thank God. And here's when I got to wisdom. I got to wisdom and I started really understanding I was growing in God when I started shouting off of the rejections of God. I didn't just shout off of the advancements. Mm-hmm. I started shouting for the doors that he closed, for the pulpits that he didn't allow me to preach in, for the relationships he didn't allow me to establish. And you know where I learned this from? My spiritual leader.
Yeah.
He taught me, you don't need to be in every room. You don't need everybody to sign off on your ministry. You don't need everybody to invite you to preach.
That's right.
You need to find out where you need to be, and then you grow from there.
And you grow from there. And you know, when I was in college, Bishop, under Pastor Shepherd, Bishop E.L. Shepherd, when I got called, he used to let me go everywhere. I mean, churches in this city was calling for me to preach. I went everywhere preaching. I went everywhere. One day, one Sunday, I called him that Thursday. And I said, Bishop Shepherd, well, he was Pastor Shepherd then, Pastor Shepherd, I've been asked to speak at so-and-so. And he said, well, I don't want you to go. I said, you don't want me to go? He said, no. I said, have I done something wrong? And he said, no. I said, am I speaking at Watson Temple? He said, no. I said, oh, you need me to play the drums? He said, if you want to. He said, I just don't want you to go. And we hung up. My feelings were so hurt because I'm like, he done let me go all this time, and now he said he don't want me to go. What have I done? I kept trying to ask myself, what did I do? What have I done? You know, I called my mama and I said, Mama, Bishop Shepherd told me I couldn't go. And she told me, learn the lessons that you're about to go through, because they're preparing you for a greater work.
Mm-hmm.
I said, that no one to prepare me for a greater work? I said, she said, you really wanted to go? I said, yes, ma'am. Because I like preaching at that church. She
Mm-hmm.
said, what did your pastor say? I said, he said no. She said, didn't you say he's your pastor? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, well, then the answer is no. It's not going to hurt you, Judy. She said, it'll be a yes next time, maybe. Next time I asked him, he said no. Next time I asked him, he said no. For 2 years, Bishop Shepherd said no. He wanted me at the house. I started preaching every third Sunday, but he wanted to see something. He wanted me in Bible study, and I could not understand it. Later on, and now I understand it. Mm-hmm. Bishop, there were so many things that I encountered when he released me again. And I asked him, I said, Bishop, why did you stop me from going? He said, Judy, Evangelist Andrew, I wanted to teach you something. He said, I wanted to teach you some more principles. But he wasn't, Bishop Shepherd didn't teach like this. You know, he throw it and you have to catch it or you have to look. Now, I was one who I went to him often with questions and this and that. But every time he was promoted, Bishop, he took me with him. That's what you remind me of. Every time he was promoted, he took me and gave me a higher position. Every single time that he was promoted. He became superintendent. He made me the district youth president. He became the bishop. He made me the district chair lady, the jurisdiction chair lady. Then he died thereafter. But he kept saying, you're greater than where you are right now, but I need you to do some lessons.
Yeah.
But
blessing. And we act like now that no is a curse.
Yeah.
We act like.
And then, Bishop, we get with other people who validate us, who validate people and cause people to replant. And they really shouldn't be replanted in another field. They need to stay there and be pruned. Because,
because I often say this, Dr. Judy, I often say, like, and it bothers me. You just said something real good. Why do we accept validation from people who are still in the picture? Like, if both of us are inside the frame, neither one of us can really judge each other. Yeah. We need the person that's in the hallway watching the picture to evaluate this picture frame. But we rather take advice from people who are sitting right next to us in the picture. I don't want advice from people who are in the picture. Now, what you can give me is, you can give me support, but you can't lift me if we're both in the same picture. Mm-hmm. I need somebody who walks up and evaluates my frame to say, this is cute, but that's off. You should have actually turned a little bit more to the left. It's almost like, you know how you're hanging stuff, and when you say you and your spouse is hanging something on the wall, and then somebody got to do what? Walk away from it, stand back and look at the wall to get a total different perspective versus the one who's still up against the wall. Man. We want to hear from people who are holding the frame with us and ask them, is this even? No. If we're going to talk about being lifted to the next level and lids coming off, you got to get comfortable with people who stand outside and give a total different perspective of what's going on in this total frame. That's why we need individuals who are committed to being poured into so they can pull us up. The bottom of the jar and the lid of the jar is not the same place.
Not the same place.
And you need somebody who not only supports you, that's that foundation. We both in this frame. Mm-hmm. I need somebody else atop who can be unscrewed and say, it's time now for more. Yeah. And so we got to pour into ourselves to be seasonal so that we can speak to people to tell them when their seasons are shifting. And those whose seasons are shifting need to find somebody. Like, I'm convinced that we got a lot of people around here that's leading that don't know the heart of those who are leading them.
Yeah.
And because we got heart issues, we got trust issues.
Yeah. Yes.
Like when I know you love me, and here it is. And here's the fight that we're fighting against right now. This is the battle. The war that we're fighting against right now is society is teaching us to be offended on every level of our lives.
Every level.
And because it's teaching us to be offended, and it's also teaching us to have emotional instabilities. So we're not like I'm looking at like my son's age and their generations. Man, these kids are depressed. They're stressed out all the time, and society is feeding into your stress, your depression. It's making you feel depressed. Like the kids of today don't really have tools to deal with life.
Exactly.
They don't have that. When I was coming up as a preacher, I just said this to my preachers the other day, because I got a lot of preachers at the church, and so it's like that's a lot of them. And so as we got all these preachers at the church, one of the problems is that they don't all get to preach. Mm-hmm. And I have to be honest with them. I was like, yo, so it's 52 weeks in a year. If I give all y'all a chance to preach, there are many months that I won't get to preach
at all.
And I'm the one that God has called to preach here. And so they was like, so how do you deal with that? I said, well, we deal with it like this. I said, I was raised Church of God in Christ. I said, I got licensed and did 6 years in Church of God in Christ, licensed. Mm-hmm. I said, I preached 0 times on a Sunday morning in 6 years. And I preached twice on a Sunday night service for a total of 3 minutes both times, 6 years. I said, fast forward, I went to the Baptist church. I was fully employed for the Baptist church, the full-time youth pastor. And I preached a total of 4 times on a Sunday morning in 6 years. Mm-hmm. Are you hearing? Yeah. I said, my calendar was filled. I said, you all struggle with the fact that you ain't preached in 3 months. I went through years of not preaching, but we were taught back then a different type of approach to life.
Yes.
Rejections.
Yes.
And also, like we knew certain doors you walk into, like, hey, that's Bishop Scania's friend. That's not my friend. I know him because of Bishop Scania's.
Exactly.
Everything I want to talk. If this guy want to talk to me, I need to talk to Bishop Scania's before this guy talks to me, because that's Bishop Scania's friend. Today's generation is like, yo, I'm at the table, I'm talking to, and we're like, no, you don't need to quite open your mouth on that one yet, because there's some levels of this conversation that you're not privileged to. That when you step in, you're going to put yourself years behind, versus having your years of advancements. But we don't have those kind of conversations no more, because everybody is so easily offended. So now we got a bunch of people who are not really accelerating because we can't have honest and hard conversations. And they're necessary if we're talking about moving the ministry or moving the business or moving these things to another level. You got to get comfortable in having uncomfortable conversations.
Yes.
To take that lid off the jar.
You have to, Bishop. You have to. I'm like, everybody's offended. They hurt my feelings. They spoke this way. They did that. No, Jesus himself taught those leaders to endure hardness as a good soldier. We're allowing wimps to become leaders in the church, and they can't accept anything. Even on these jobs, these people will get rid of you in these organizations because you got to have tough skin.
Yeah, you got to be tough.
You got to have tough. And if you're going to untie that lid, I just thought about it as you were talking, Bishop, they're like the spaghetti jar sometimes. I can't open it naturally. The lid is too tight. I hit it to the bottom, and it just don't open. But Pastor comes in, he hit it, and then he just let it open. And I told him a man made the spaghetti top so we can celebrate y'all for opening up the top for us.
And that sounds like you. That sounds like you.
Oh, like I say, sweetheart, thank you so very much. On some things I can't open, right? And he got this fancy can opener too. I don't know how to use yet, so I just call him to open it if I don't buy the thing. But the thing, I don't have that struggle. I think you're crazy, That's Carolyn, Pastor. She don't want to preach.
I hear it.
You heard her. She don't want to preach. But Pastor, at the same time, we have to have leaders who can take that tight lid off. So the substance that's on the inside of that jar, on the inside of us,
Yeah.
will come forth, but that leader has to be able to open it. And sometimes he has to hit it on the bottom. He or she has to hit it on the bottom, hit it on the top, and then hit it, then open it.
Mm-hmm.
We're living in a generation, except for Carolyn, who really don't know. She's not right here. What I'm about to say, who you can't hit on because they're too offended. And so, like a woman, a man who go tell somebody else, they did this, they did that, they did that. And so they make sure that they don't do that. But if they're going to be a good leader, it's going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
So you have to teach them how to stand now. And the law of the lid, it has to come off, Bishop.
Yeah.
It has to go up. People are suffering because it has to go up. I think you said last time, people are not leaving churches because the churches ain't good at that. You're not providing anything of worth. And with the lid not lifted, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be like this.
When you talk about leadership, and I know it's glamorous in the theory of theme and how we branded leadership, leadership really involves this word called passion. Yes. And when you get into that word passion, we think passion means we think it only means, oh my gosh, this is what I love. Mm-hmm. But when I look up the word passion, the first definition that jumps out is suffer. Whenever you talk about passion, the first definition that I see in dictionary is suffer.
Suffer.
As leaders, we got to suffer. We got to suffer the trail so that we can now open up the doors. We're in Black History Month now. So when you start thinking about Sojourner Truth and some of these different ones that's going on before us, they suffered to make sure that the lid was moved.
Yes.
They suffered. You think about the fact that she's been beaten before, she's hit in the head before, but still yet she comes back together, gathers the people and puts her life at a sacrifice. You think about Janera Lee, and you think about how she put her life at a sacrifice before the AME church to say, okay, women are going to preach in this church here today. She goes up against Bishop Allen, even in the historical parts of the AME church starting. When you start thinking about even right now, Gina Stewart, Dr. Gina, what she's going through right now, she's going through these doctoral things that are happening that is really man-made and not even God-led. And now you find that this whole group of people are coming against her, but she's opening doors as we speak right now for female preachers. So you got to suffer some stuff, and you're not fit to be a good leader until you fit to suffer. If you can't take suffer, you shouldn't lead. Because all this glam and glamorous thing that you're doing for people to serve you, that is not what leadership is really about.
Come on,
the lead, it is my job to go ahead to learn more so I can come back and unlock people so your potential can now sprout out. It's my job.
Yes, sir.
We got to really change this theory about what a leader is.
Come on, Bishop.
Not designed to be served. We are not the royal court over in London. That's not who we are. When you are a leader, like I even get offended and I get sick of hearing these elected officials who get these positions that we put you in. Here it is. I'm gonna say that. I gotta say that louder. You get these positions that we put you in, and you think now that you get to tell us what to do. No, baby. Your job as an elected official is to go suffer, to take the lid off so people can grow, so people can exist, so people can be empowered. And we got to change this. Sometimes I think that our background and history of slavery has put us in a real captive place, because now that we get some sense of value or acknowledgement, we don't recognize what our real purpose is there, because we're happy to finally get validated. We're happy to finally get a pat on the back.
Yes.
No, when you are a leader, your job is to work harder. Your job is to search more. Your job is to suffer more. Your job is to speak up for others. That's what leadership is all about. And that's how we move the lid.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. I think some leaders, and you know what get me, Bishop? You got people in storefronts or people with 5 members and 5 armor bearers.
Yes.
5 members and 5 armor bearers.
Self-esteem issues.
I'm
That's
like,
what
come on, that is not what this is about.
self-esteem issues.
Yeah, if you're serving in a leadership role, even as a top leader, I agree with you 100%. You're the sufferer, you're the make way, you're a trendsetter. And then the other leaders that have given you permission to serve them, it is your responsibility to lead them, to serve them, to help them come to a higher plateau.
Yeah.
They should be seeing something in that top tier leader, as you said, Bishop, that make them look at themselves and said, I got to do this like Bishop. And then as they add their stuff to it, and the more they come up, the more you go up. The more they come up, the more, because you're open. It's like, I just saw this. It's like this lid, there's a stairway, some stairs that you given to the leaders that's under you. And as they're coming up, their lid is lifted and they are now bringing people up under them. And that's what I hear you saying. You know, you don't have time to be offended. You don't have time to be into that stuff. You have time to grow. That's what, to serve and grow, to serve and grow. And the more you grow, because right now, a lot of people can't afford that $2,500 that we're serving. I mean, this money that we're going to pay for this leadership class. Mm-hmm. But they can strive at it. And then you come back and you're pouring all this into them. They want it. Yeah. They want it. And as I'm serving, even with these women, it's like, come on, sisters. You know, this lady's working hard in the AME church, and I often tell the women, Bishop, that you got some men who are giving us an opportunity, whether you like it or not. It's a man's world. Mm-hmm. Who was that? James Brown? Yeah. This a man's world. But God has given us women. He's opening doors for us, and we have to be wise as we go in, because I believe, and Bishop Perkins always say, this next big movement, he believes, is going to be by women. He said he believed that. And so now we have to learn, and we suffer now to open up the doors to bring you up, because we're sitting in places. The lady in front of AME Church, she's taking it, but she's taking it. Mm-hmm. You know, but the doors are open. Yep. And I believe that's where we are now, Bishop. So I want you to talk a few minutes. This is some good stuff. And I believe Dr. D is going to play this again, y'all. And I want y'all to share this. Share this. Don't get all this information and keep it to yourself. Yeah. No. So y'all let me start. Y'all let me see the share. Y'all go ahead and share this, because this is good. This is good stuff. But we must provide training. We must, I believe, Bishop, as the top leader, we can't be selfish. Yeah. To keep people from growing. What do you think?
And watch this. And here's a real challenge that I want to put out, especially the church leadership. Oftentimes, as we go to church conferences or growth conferences, oftentimes we go because we're inspired by their accomplishments. Mm-hmm. We don't often go because we're empowered by what they instruct us. Mm-hmm. When we're talking about moving the lid, as leaders, we got to be responsible to make sure that where we're going actually is going to grow us.
Yes.
And not just have an evangelistical approach on us. We don't want to just be inspired. We need to be empowered.
Yes.
And too often we're going to conferences and we're coming back empty. We have nothing more than, oh my gosh, we had a time. We got to get over that. We had a time syndrome. We got to get into, we grew. We did more, which means sometimes it won't be to the level of your engagement of entertainment, but we got to get hungry for empowerment. You got a duty as a leader to push people. It's kind of like this. So I'm not the most industrial guy, which means that, when it comes to housework, I'm calling somebody. But the other day, I had a commode in the house, and it was just making some noise. Just kind of just, and it started aggravating me. So I picked up, we've been doing this for years. So I picked up the top of the commode and the back of it, and I looked in like I know what I'm doing, and it had this one pipe stall that was kind of like a tube thing that was kind of coming up. And they got all this stuff, so you got a top on top of it, got screws on it and stuff. And I'm looking at it, I'm trying to feel intelligent about what I'm doing. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm looking at this, I'm staring to see, like, where is it coming from? I hear the noise. The noise is coming from this tall tube, right? As I'm seeing this tall tube, I know what the tall tube does. As this cork or this base raises up from the water, it stops. And when it stops, the water stops, the sound stops. Everything stops. I think that what we need to work on doing as leaders can be seen in what I saw in the commode. We got to recognize that we are the tower, that as we hear this, water comes out that tower and it goes to the base of that commode. And as it fills up, it lifts leadership. But leadership initiated the flow. Leadership, the tower, starts the one that makes everything else comes up. Right now, we're waiting on the commode to produce its own water. And that's why a lot of our organizations are not growing. Stop trying to figure out how are you, the commode, going to push up the tower. The tower's job is to fill the water in, and then the water will lift the organization itself. So we got to start making sure that we understand where we stand in this. It's our role to be the source that helps the rest of this tube work. We got to be the source, which means that we got to get into our own hustle. Yeah, we got to get hungry. Like right now in my office, it's books all around me. I got to read books. And here's the truth for me. I don't often read the whole book. I'm a skim reader. I read 3 chapters out of here, and then I'm bored. I know I can get some money from me because I know I'm diagnosed with something. But I read 3 chapters here, then I got to jump over here in this book over here. I got to jump over that book in there. But what I'm always doing is putting something in my head. Yeah. Stand before people to have something to say. One of the first things they taught me when I was preaching, they said, good preachers are good readers.
Yes.
If you don't read, you have nothing to recite.
Yes.
And so as leaders, we got to be readers. We got to read. We can't read our own stuff. Like if all you read is your own social media posts, you ain't a leader. You got to have something to the matter of fact, when you're posting on social media, you really should be quoting something from people that's inspiring you.
Yes.
So that you can not be an inspiration to somebody else.
Exactly.
We got to get that perspective right. And I think that's what's been our problem as we're talking about this law of the lid. We're not pouring enough in ourselves. That's why we can't ever pick the lid off.
We can't keep the lid off.
People can't grow beyond you when you're the leader.
Wow. Man, this has been real good, Bishop. This has been real good, real good. And we're about to get off. But Bishop, I want to thank you so very much. I want to give y'all this, and then Bishop, I want you to take about a minute. But I do want y'all to remember my birthday is next Tuesday, February the 13th. I need for you all to go ahead and register. And then, Priscilla, you put that back up there. Y'all go to my website and go ahead and register. Go to www.dream. You got it right there. Go ahead and register. Go ahead. Prophet Pace, thank you for being on. I see Pastor Brown. So many of you all on here. I want to give y'all this right here. This right here is going to help you. Okay. I got this from John Maxwell. Here are 4 ways you can start to uncover your lid. Number 1, list 5 to 10 major goals. Focus on ones that are significant to you that you want to achieve. Then identify the ones that require the help and cooperation, as Bishop saying, from others. Number 2, rate yourself. Give yourself a rating on a scale of 1 to 10, assessing your ability when it comes to people skill, planning, strategic thinking, vision, and achieving results. I will put this on Facebook. I should have sent it to Priscilla so she could have listed it in the thing. Ask others to rate your leadership abilities. Ask others. Talk to a mentor, your boss, your partner, your best friend. Ask people to rate you. And then number 4, study your scores. Compare them to what you give yourself as a leader. All right. Rate your leader. Rate your leader. And I would dare to say this, and I'm gonna give it to Bishop. Command your leader to lead you. Put a demand on your leader to lead you. Don't just allow them to keep giving you McDonald's hamburger. Command or demand them to feed you, to lead you. And if they get cocky, oh, you just catch it, it might be time to change leaders. I'm not telling anybody to leave now. Nobody, do not leave where you are. But challenge your leader. Sit down and talk with your leader and say, I really want more. It seems like, don't be afraid to say, it seems like I'm just hitting the top. Ask them for more. Ask them for more. Don't let them give you the same old boring sandwich. It's good to shout and dance. I love shouting and dancing. Y'all better hear me. But I also love learning. Teach me something. Grow me. And don't just grow me for the church. Grow me that I can be impactful in the whole world. No matter what table I sit at, if I can learn it in the church, I can learn it. Bishop, give us 2 minutes of closing. And then y'all, I want to thank y'all for being here. Bishop?
You make some very good points, Dr. Judah. Again, thank you for having me on today. As you ask your leader to grow you, you got to also embrace that you're asking for more. And more is not just in what you receive, it's also going to be in what you give. You're going to have to pour more out of you. You got to make yourself more accessible. You got to be willing to embrace some things that may be of discomfort. You got to be willing to embrace some places that may challenge your time factor. It may cause you to have a little less sleep.
Come on.
You to work later at night. So it's not just the give me that we're speaking of today. We're also talking about positioning yourself to have more. Yeah. Pastor, I want more. He may say, sounds great. For the next 3 weeks, you're traveling on the road, man. You got to go with it. So it's those kind of things that we got to do. And we got to make sure that that narrative is also taught to us that every coin has two sides. Yeah. I want more. What are we doing then? What is your responsibilities to you achieve more? I think today was a great conversation. Thank you again for having me on. Look forward to talking to you again next month.
Yeah, he'll be back with us next month. Y'all, this is good. Bishop McRae, thank you, McRae. Thank you so very much. To those of you who are tuning in from everywhere, thank you so very much. And I know you have been blessed. I know that you have been blessed. And so I'm going to ask if you would, please share this. Our desire is that everybody will get it. That's our desire, that everyone will get it. Not just us who listening. We're growing, and I want everybody who listen to grow. And then you want others to grow. So let's make this happen, right? I hope to see, I know many of you are from out of town and so forth and so on, but those in town and surrounding areas, those who want to come on, let me see you Tuesday night, because we're going to have a good time. I promise you, we're going to have a good time. So I want to thank you all so very much for being here with me today. And y'all be blessed. Oh, my grandmother passed, I think 20 years ago, February the 8th, Mother Caroline Hunter. And her birthday is the 8th. And my mama asked me today, what's the 8th? When it is? I'm like, oh, that's my mama's birthday. I said, yeah, it is. So we want to, y'all just, y'all will say it, but celebrate your people, y'all. Celebrate your people. All right, your friends and family. I love y'all. This has been Real Talk. And remember, this is Stretch Leadership, the law of the lid. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, your lid was lifted today. That's Real Talk.
Real Talk with Judy. Real Talk with Judy on the radio.